Picture this. I'm standing at my front door, heart pounding, watching an ambulance's lights flash in my driveway while a woman in a crisp blazer blocks the paramedics, demanding their IDs like she's guarding a military base. My mom's inside, gasping for air, maybe having a heart attack, and this HOA tyrant, Deborah Klein, is wasting precious seconds over some made-up community rule until the cops show up and cuff her for endangering a life. Let me take you back to that night in Pine Hollow, Colorado, when a medical emergency turned into a battle that brought down the neighborhood's self-appointed queen. I'm Lucas Bennett, 42, a mechanic who's lived in Pine Hollow for 5 years with my wife, Tara, and our teenage son, Ethan. It's a quiet suburb, neat lawns, kids on bikes, the kind of place where you wave at neighbors and swap garden tips. The HOA keeps things orderly. Or so I thought when we moved in. Sure, they'd nag about your fence height or mailbox color, but I figured it was just the price of a nice neighborhood. My mom, Clara, 68, was visiting that week, staying in our guest room after a long drive from Nebraska. She's got a weak heart, takes meds for it, but she's tough, still bakes pies from scratch, and teases me about my oil-stained hands. That Tuesday night, we're laughing over dinner, chicken pot pie fresh from her recipe, when she grabs her chest, face going gray, and slumps in her chair. My world stops. I'm on the phone with 911 in seconds, voice shaking as I tell the dispatcher, my mom's collapsed, she's barely breathing, please hurry. Tara's holding mom's hand, Ethan's wide-eyed, fetching a pillow to prop her up like the operator says. The dispatcher's calm, tells me to monitor her pulse, keep her still, and wait for the ambulance. I'm glued to the front window, counting seconds, praying for those sirens. When I hear them, relief hits like a wave, red lights flashing down our street. Help's here, mom's gonna be okay. But then I see Deborah Klein marching across her lawn, clipboard in hand, face like she's about to bust a drug ring. My stomach drops. Deborah's been HOA president for 4 years, and she runs Pine Hollow like it's her personal empire. She's mid-50s, always in a blazer with the HOA logo, hair sprayed stiff, and this fake smile that screams trouble. She's got a day job managing some corporate office, and neighbors joke she hones her control freak skills there before unleashing them on us. She's fined folks for leaving Christmas lights up past New Year's, sent letters about unapproved flower beds, even installed cameras around her house that seem to watch the whole block. Last month, she chewed out the Garcias for parking their RV an inch over their driveway line. Her newsletters read like prison rules, new bans on everything from bird feeders to kids' chalk drawings. We all grumble, but most just pay the fines to avoid her wrath. I never thought she'd go this far. The ambulance pulls up, and 2 paramedics, a woman, maybe 30, and a guy about my age, jump out, bags in hand, ready to save my mom. But Deborah plants herself in front of them, arms crossed, like a bouncer at a club. Hold it, she says, voice sharp enough to cut glass. You need authorization to enter this community. Show me your visitor passes. The paramedics freeze, confused. The woman, calm but urgent, says, "Ma'am, we're responding to a medical emergency. We need to get inside now." Deborah doesn't budge. Rules are rules, she snaps. I'm the HOA president. No non-residents enter without clearance. I'm out the door in a flash, panic clawing at my chest. "Deborah, my mom's having a heart attack." I yell, "Let them through." She turns to me, that smug smile plastered on. "You should have followed procedure, Lucas. Emergencies don't excuse protocol." I'm floored. Procedure? My mom's dying, and she's talking about visitor passes? The male paramedic steps up, voice tight. "Ma'am, every second matters in a cardiac event. Move, or you're risking a life." Deborah scoffs. "Don't lecture me about your so-called protocols," she says. "I know my rights. Show me authorization. Or leave." Inside, I hear Mom moan, weak, and it's like a knife in my gut. Neighbors are gathering now, Mr. Torres on his porch, the Wilsons across the street, all watching this nightmare unfold. The female paramedic tries to slip past, but Deborah physically blocks her, shoulder-checking her like a linebacker. "You're trespassing," Deborah shouts. "I'll have you arrested for violating community property." Trespassing? They're here to save a life. I'm shaking, rage and fear mixing, but I know arguing's wasting time. I grab my phone, dial 911 again, and say, loud enough for everyone to hear, "I need police now." A woman's blocking paramedics from treating my mom, who's having a heart attack. She's endangering her life. Deborah's eyes widen, but she doubles down. Call whoever you want, she sneers. I'm protecting Pine Hollow from unauthorized intruders. You can't intimidate me. Intruders? These are medics, not burglars. The crowd's murmuring now, some shaking their heads, others pulling out phones to record. I'm praying the cops get here before it's too late. 2 patrol cars screech up minutes later. Lights blazing, and 3 officers jump out, body cameras rolling. The lead, Officer Ramirez, a guy with a no-nonsense vibe, talks to the paramedics first. They explain the situation, cardiac emergency, blocked by an HOA official over visitor rules. Ramirez turns to Deborah, who's still standing there, clipboard clutched like a shield. Ma'am, he says. Calm, but firm. You're interfering with emergency services. Step aside now. Deborah launches into her spiel. I'm the HOA president, she says, voice rising. These people need clearance. I'm upholding community standards, even in emergencies. Ramirez's face hardens. You're obstructing medical care, he says. That's a felony. Move, or you're under arrest. You'd think that'd snap her out of it, but Deborah's too far gone. They're unauthorized, she yells, pointing at the paramedics. I have every right to protect this neighborhood. The crowd's buzzing. Mrs. Wilson gasps. A teen mutters, she's nuts. Ramirez has had enough. Ma'am, you're under arrest for obstruction of emergency services, he says, pulling out cuffs. Deborah's jaw drops, her clipboard clattering to the ground. You can't do this, she shrieks. I'm protecting Pine Hollow. I have rights. The cuffs click on. And she's still ranting as Ramirez and another officer lead her to the cruiser. Neighbors cheer. Actual cheers, like a dam's broken. The paramedics rush past, finally free, and I'm back inside. Heart in my throat, watching them work on Mom. They're pros checking her vitals, hooking up monitors, giving oxygen. She's pale but conscious, squeezing my hand as they load her onto a stretcher. Tara's crying. Ethan's quiet, scared. The medics get her to the hospital fast, and after a tense night, doctors say she'll pull through. Angioplasty, some new meds, but she's alive. I'm flooded with relief, but the rage lingers. Deborah's stunt could have killed her, all for a power trip. Back home, the streets buzzing. Neighbors, folks I barely know, stop by with casseroles, sharing their own Deborah horror stories. The Garcias got fined for their kid's basketball hoop. Mrs. Lee had to repaint her door twice because Deborah didn't like the green. Mr. Torres got a violation for his too tall grass during a rainstorm. She'd ruled by fear, and now the mask was off. By morning, Pine Hollow's on fire with gossip. An emergency HOA meeting's called. And it's packed, standing room only, people spilling onto the lawn. The board votes 50-0 to kick Deborah out, banning her from any HOA role for life. Residents unload years of gripes, her cameras, her fines, her newsletters that read like dictator memos. The local paper runs a headline, HOA president cuffed for blocking ambulance. Deborah's day job, managing an insurance office, crumbles. She's fired after the story goes viral, her co-workers gleeful to see the office bully fall. The legal hammer drops hard. She's charged with felony obstruction of emergency services, facing up to 5 years. In court, body camera footage, paramedic statements, and neighbor testimonies bury her. The judge doesn't hold back, saying her actions could have cost a life. She gets 2 years in prison, eligible for parole after 18 months, plus $12,000 in fines and restitution for emergency delays. Deborah's pale, clutching the table, finally realizing her HOA crown's worthless. Pine Hollow's different now. The new HOA board's chill, rules are clear, no more surprise fines. Neighbors are friendlier, like a weight's lifted. Mom's back home, baking pies again, teasing me about that crazy lady. I'm grateful every day she's here, but I can't shake the what-ifs. Deborah wasn't just a control freak. She was willing to let someone die to prove a point. Last week, I found a note in my mailbox, no address, just "you ruined me" in shaky handwriting. Could be Deborah's sister, who still lives nearby, or just a prank. I've kept my cameras up, doors locked, because I know now, some people don't let go. This mess taught me something: power, even the petty kind, can turn dangerous fast. I wanted Pine Hollow to be a safe place for my family, and I almost lost Mom because I didn't see Deborah's game sooner. If you're dealing with an HOA bully, or anyone who thinks they own you, don't wait. Call them out, get proof, protect what matters. So, where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. And tell me, Have you ever faced a control freak like Deborah? Was I right to call the cops? Or should I have tried reasoning with her? And that note, what's your next move? Let's talk. Because these stories need to be told, or the Deborahs keep running the show.